castle.
Oh,
and
you
Tiger
go,
going
Mule!
vertically.
Go, Mule, go!
As
Block
now
the
the mules
tank.
are charging in to push the tank back. They've gone in for the Hellspawn strategy, which is saying the mules are now slowly suiciding. The mules are actually dying, but so far it's a nice distraction for the officers. The officers are now coming in to engage them from behind. What's mean what the mules are trying their best to push the tank. So far it's not working so far. As it's
Goodbye,
now
tank.
overwhelmed, it's been EMP'd and now it's trying its best. Now it's getting mazered in the fuel tank, which will make a nice explosion when it happens. So far, one of the players is trying his best to use an AT round, but completely misses because the mules are actually using themselves
Oh
as a
god, the
mid-shield.
mules are out of the way! Get the oh my god! Get the mules out of the way, I can't shoot the tank!
Meanwhile, the mules are now surrounding the tank. The tank is utterly oblivious and doesn't know what's going on, as they're now completely confused on what the hell's going
Oh
on.
god, you fucked! No, rush me
As
down.
now the mules have turned against their master as they consume Techno into the mule crowd as he gets eaten slowly by the herd of mules. The mules have had enough and now pull themselves out. Meanwhile,
Mules,
Techno
protect
just
me.
gets run over. Tiger comes in, tries to go for the revive, but so far the Hellspawn is making their way over to their base. The IFV is trying its best to destroy the facility, but so far the Hellspawn is coming in for that kill. The Hellspawn gets immediately smashed and obliterated. Meanwhile, the IFV's left one trying their best, but so far the mules are now Meanwhile, the mules are now eating up Tiger as like he's another
Goodbye,
prey to
IFV.
him.
Now it's destroyed.
As meanwhile, they just taken another artillery I hear
Mules
coming
back,
from the
what?
distance. Will this artillery hit the mules? We'll never know until now, and now they just obliterate some mules. Artillery shell just whacks some mules on the floor, as now we can see the poor soul on the floors all over, like literally crying for mommy for help. But so far now they're just getting obliterated left, right and centre. So far the mule army is now charging in for that engagement, trying their best to push back those marines.
Techno. By the way, the mules must have hide inside the mules and
As now the mules are now pushing the marines and consuming them bit by bit. So far, they're getting consumed by the officers. The officers are now going for the retreat. The marine sadly gets into the monks and gets eaten alive by a mule. It's a sad day for those marines as they're getting eaten alive slowly by slowly.
I'm reloading that Mason.
It's so funny, dude.
Damn.
They're
No,
blocked.
I just destroyed the point
the
defense.
the pointer is
Oh,
blocked.
I destroyed it. Yeah, I destroyed it. I'm inside. Hey, everybody, stop moving, bitch.
Kill it, it's blocking.
Anvil, you're up.
Anvil is super fucked up.
Bro, I'm fucking destroying everything with the Mason while inside the fucking wood.
Genius idea. Genius
Dude, it
idea.
fucking works. They can't shoot back. Everything's blocking.
Genius idea. Hide berserkers inside the bomb. Hide the berserker inside.
I told
the
you,
bomb.
just grab a Mason and just start shooting him while standing inside the wood.
Meanwhile, our Guardian Trooper has appeared afraid, stuck in the mules as he's now completely clueless on what to do. So by managed to escape, Anvil has spotted him and he's now going for the engagement. The Guardian Trooper managed to slap Anvil on the ground and now he's dying. Meanwhile, the mules are now consuming Castle alive. The turret is so confused. It's trying its best to take an officer, but Techno comes in and slaps.
Mason the shit out of it.
Meanwhile, a Hellspawn has
Mule
joined
rush!
the
I'm
man
setting my
mules.
I'm setting my
Unhelpful
mules to
shit
protect
back.
you. I'm setting my mules to protect.
I'm right next to the tank. Don't run me over. Oh no, it's running.
Meanwhile, the Hellspawn is trying its best to escape. It's trying its best, but the mules are trying its best. But the Hellspawn managed to escape, luckily. But the mules are now chasing down this tank. They want him dead. So far, he's just been EMP'd. The mules now have their chance to push in and capture him alive, and then slowly consume him. So far, a Guardian Trooper has appeared and he's trying his best. He's now fighting like the Doom guy as he fights in amongst them. Meanwhile, the guy is trying his best to save his friend, but so far the tank's destroyed. Now the Guardian Trooper is now fighting alone. Meanwhile, Techno coming in and goes in for the slap, whilst Tiger's hiding within the monks and mules. The Guardian Trooper is so confused he doesn't know what the target. So he gets EMP'd and pulls in an artillery strike on his own position. He's going... He's going for a broken arrow technique. It's now the artillery. He's trying his best to hit the mules.
Techno,
So
how do you
far,
like the mason?
only a couple of mules did not make that strike. So the mules go in for another round. Meanwhile, a lonely engineer is getting chased down by some mules, so he gets backed up by 2 officers coming in for the kill.
Enemy officer ahead!
As now the mules are consuming Beetle. Oh my god, it's consuming him alive. Whilst Techno comes in for the final kill to basically end his suffering of getting eaten alive by a bunch of mules. So far, Castle coming in, getting shot up. Castle gets slapped on the ground. Whilst Techno's coming
Oh god,
in, doing
move
some
out your
shots.
mules! I'm trying to cap! You won't let me cap! Your mules are on the way!
Meanwhile, they've now got so many mules, they
Go,
can't even
Tupa,
catch...
Tupa.
Oh my god, your mule keeps canceling my shit. Get it out of the point. I can't see.
So far, the mules have now surrounded a Guardian Trooper, as now the Guardian Trooper gets killed by a mazer. So far, they have
think he's
now
dying.
overwhelmed the ejector to the point they can't even escape anymore.
Oh
Hellspawn
god damn
has
it, you
joined.
keep doing it! Stop it.
Hellspawn has joined the fray, and so far, he's now just cooked all the mules. All the mules are now getting their revenge on their part. They're coming in for that charge under the Hellspawn. Now trying its best to knock it over. So far, the officers geniusly idea just EMP'd the Hellspawn, and now a second EMP is going. Now the mules are coming in for that arrow push. Can they flip the tank? But so far, Techno is masering the tanker. Meanwhile, the mules are now surrounded. It cannot escape. It's clutch. Even with the EMPs down, it cannot move. It is now forever stuck. As now it's made into a blockade, the Hellspawn is forever stuck in this zone. Meanwhile, it's getting mazered after artillery shot. It's getting shot up by everything. This Hellspawn cannot escape from these mules, as the mules completely block them off and can't move. As Techno comes in and slaps the tank and completely blows up that tank. Meanwhile, a Guardian Trooper trying its best to cut down the mule population. So far, it's
Rain
slowly
coming out the
succeeding,
flag.
but Tiger is coming in and just saw it and
what's
now going
working,
for the
don't worry.
engagement. The engineer that's trying to catch the
280
objective is now
flag.
annihilated. The Guardian Trooper is now getting slapped by Grenadier as the
Oh,
Guardian
I'm
Trooper
down.
slaps down
Techno, get
Castle,
me.
showing his place, whilst Techno throws him across the map.
No!
And artillery comes in, takes it out, all those
no.
mules, all those precious mules. So far, the mule population has been cut down by a third.
You think more fabricators can make one mule?
So meanwhile, a mule has joined in the fray, trying its best to hold the line with the others. Meanwhile, the Guardian Trooper is so dumbfounded, he doesn't know what he's doing. Techno coming in for that ability, comes in, he's trying his best to talk to us, but he spreads out, does not do a lot of damage, instead he gets down. But so far, he comes in, goes for that punch, but it doesn't do anything to him because he just got EMP'd. So far, the 2 GSF officers trying their best to hold the line. Castle coming in for that sweet execution. So far, the mules are now helping the GSF as they're now trying their best to get in their own battle suit. So far, they're getting stuck. They can't even move because the mules have now trapped them inside the battle suit. As now the officer executes him, and another artillery is come in and completely obliterating the battlefield.
Maybe those robotic upgrades, though, and make the mules way more tanky and more annoying.
That's all they need
Yes.
to win this match. Meanwhile, Castle fighting alone, getting eaten alive by mules, as we now watch the mules slowly consuming bit by bit. He immediately gets put out by Techno as he comes in for that slam to break his neck. Because to put out the misery, because he doesn't like people getting eaten alive. So far, a Hellspawn's about to run over Castle. He completely shits himself and sees a Hellspawn about to cook him. As now the Hellspawn is getting blocked off by Mule, he runs over that Mule and says, "Sod you, you ain't gonna do much." So far, the Hellspawn is trying his best to cut off the population of mules as they're coming from the fabricators. So far, they're trying their best to block much as they can. So far, the officers realise they're cutting off the population. Tiger, Techno coming in for that EMP shot, trying their best to disarm him. The tank has been disarmed, it goes in for the ground pound.
Fucking winning boys.
And so far, they have won. They've only built mules since
By the way,
they
this
won.
is brutal.
And
And remember, we're at 50% handicap. We're lower than the other team. They have double what we have.
Meanwhile,
More
the
than that,
tank
it's
is
brutal.
getting mazered. The tank will soon get exploded as it now comes out in a beautiful flame. As now the explosion will come out shortly. Boom, and it's gone.
The great EU War 2.0.
It is at this point. So far, a Guardian Trooper trying his best to capture Jeff was Techno has not realised he's right behind him. He immediately goes in for the assassination shot. Meanwhile, an engineer is trying his best to go for the capture, but Tiger's seen him and goes in for the execution. Meanwhile, the Guardian Trooper's trying his best to hold the line. They're trying their best to kill the trooper, but Carlson did not realise the Guardian Trooper's on his right. But so far, he's now been on board, and the Mules have now blocked him for getting revived. But Tiger coming in from another angle, trying his best to revive. The Guardian Trooper is still knocking him down as he gets hit down by the Guardian Trooper again. So far, they still have not realised the Guardian Trooper is actually part of the vehicle whilst getting sniped inside the Mule. As now the Guardian Trooper tries his best to cut down the population of Mules. They try their best to go. Now he's getting mazered in his own battle suit as he now gets turned into crisp.
What the fuck?
So far, a Phoenix crew is trying its best to cut down the population of Mules as they always do. But the extra forces have found out where their location are and will take them out. So far, Tiger coming in with a big brain move by going around them instead of just charging forward like normally the others do. So far, he comes in from behind and starts engaging. He takes down the first one, and now he starts taking out the second. The second one gets obliterated, but there's still a crew member to retake the gun. Meanwhile, Anvil coming in for the defense. The Mules are trying their best to distract much as they can. Anvil comes in and taking out Tiger.
I need my Mules over here by the hell spawn.
So far, another hell spawn has come in.
Just keep it in front.
Now they have blocked up the hellspawn. The hellspawn cannot move now. The Mules have completely stopped. Now they're getting mazered and EMP'd constantly. It cannot escape.
I'm down. Men's down. Men's down.
And now Tiger is slowly bleeding out. Whilst meanwhile Bravo on the other side is also bleeding. Whilst meanwhile a Mule is now eating him alive as he now consumes his soul completely. He now returns to his normal duties of being a Mule. So far, a Phoenix crew was able to re-gun their turret without the others noticing. So far, the Phoenix is still cutting down that population. So far, the Hellspawn just got obliterated, but they have lost several Mules during that battle front. But it was really worth it taking out those Hellspawns. So far, the Phoenix crew are still engaging the enemy. But so far, Techno coming in for that another sneaky strat. Coming from behind again, trying his best to take them out, but he's got killed still by Tiger as he comes in for a laser. And now we're back. Castle comes in for another artillery strike once more. Beetle and Anvil coming in, trying their best to take up, but the Mules have now blocked their path, trying his best, and now he's using them with cover. Now he's got nice, decent cover. So far, Beetle and Anvil have given out, and Bravo joins in with them. But so far, another Hellspawn coming in, trying to cut down the population yet again.
No, I'm blocking my Mules for the guys to not cap it.
So far, they're trying their best to catch the objective, but so far, the Mules, there's so many of them, they can't even touch the objective. Anvil's trying his best to climb over the Mule herd. So far, Beetle dropped down a sentry gun, trying his best to cut down the Mule population yet again, but Castle coming in for that savior, trying to save the Mules as he goes around majoring all the infantry. The Hellspawn trying its best to cut down yet again more of the population. So far, the officers have been too focused by the enemy officers. Coming in, Anvil is now just realised Beetle's going. Castle is now left bleeding out on the floor. Anvil is now standing around wondering what to do in this situation as he now too focused to kill Beetle. He tries his best. He's now not reviving Castle. Castle is still bleeding out as he now dies. Anvil just realised where his body was.
Wait, is Anvil even in the Discord?
I don't think he is.
Oh, you just walked on top of me and ignored the fact I was dying.
God.
Anvil's so confused right now. Like, what's all these Mules doing?
Oh no, I saw him type in chat. My kind of match.
So far, a Hellspawn is now coming from behind, trying its best to burn down the population, but there's so many Mules now that it's not even working. I can see the commander is building more fabrications, more Mules. It's getting to the point that now there'll be more Mules than there are getting Mules killed. To the point now the whole map will be filled with Mules eventually, even if they try to kill them. So far, a massive horde of Mules are trying to figure out where they can deploy themselves as they're figuring out where to do. So far, the Hellspawn is now getting taken on by Techno. Meanwhile, Anvil is revived by Tiger. Was Beetle, the GSF officer, trying his best to pull his own retreat, but retreating to the ruin location, hides behind some Mules for cover, but Tiger and Anvil coming in for that kill. He immediately gets domed by Anvil. As meanwhile, they're now both bullying him as they're now both going in for the execution. Like to bully him some more as he comes in and shoots him in the face with a point blank with a grenade launcher. Meanwhile, the Hellspawn is now about to explode as it now gets mazered. It now explodes. Meanwhile, on the battlefront, we're still getting more GSF officers coming in and a couple of Marines every now and again. To the point now, I think they've just given up. Because they're not even pushing up the rear echelons, the artillery trucks, and the rest of their Marines. They're literally just leaving it to their officers to do all the job. As another Guardian trooper comes in for that sneaky, but Techno spots him, coming in for that engagement. He gets obliterated by the Guardian trooper, whilst Anvil is still obliterated, still oblivious of the whole thing. Castle realises the situation, tries his best to mazer, but the first few seconds cost him because he actually tried to mazer his own mule by accident. As meanwhile, Anvil comes in for the mule, they now burnt him alive.
Oh, my mules! My mules!
Now the mules just got exploded for unknown
They blew up my
reasons.
mules! They blew up my mules, dude!
Meanwhile, an engineer is now slowly trying his best to get through, but he's getting consumed alive trying to get in. Meanwhile, Techno literally shows him and squishes his head. To the point it's now literally just a pancake.
Nice. Bacon, pancake. I like the way you talk.
Hello, Yole.
And so far,
Hello,
Tiger
We're
going
not
for
doing
the cheek.
anything stupid.
Let's see
Meanwhile,
the New War 2.0.
Mule War 2.0?
EU.
We're winning on brutal or we just mules.
Bro, you know all I thought about is the Civil War for mules. Mule freedom.
oh god, if they allowed extra,
I can't say no to slavery.
if they add in Exron versus Exron, there will be a massive mule battle. The battle of the mules.
guys.
I want that to happen. So far,
Guys,
another
if you want to see my
Hellspawn.
POV,
Oh god.
This no,
Oh,
guys,
dude, I'm
this
just
is
burning them all alive.
So far, Hellspawn is trying his
revolution. It's a revolution.
guys, anyone
It's
want to
not
see my
POV?
POV? Guys, see my POV. See my POV.
POV. What happened to your POV?
I'm blocking the point so that they can't capture it.
I believe they can watch it from mine and also
my
the
voice.
stream. At the moment, there's so
Oh.
many mules at the objective, they can't even touch it because there's just so many. As we now watch Tiger coming in for the revive, but a Hellspawn is trying its best to cut off the supply line by destroying the power, and IEV has joined them in the battlefield to cut down the mule population, but I don't think that's going to work because there's too many fabrications making too many mules at a time for them to kill. Techno's realising and EMPs the Hellspawn. The Hellspawn is now getting ground powdered and lasered and also shot up. Tiger's realising and now joins in with the mazer, and IEV tries his best to push the tank out of the way so the IEV can take the shot, but so far it's now just made a mule flip by reversing backwards and runs him over. So far the Hellspawn just got knotted. The IEV is trying its best on its last final due to kill much mules as it can to cut off the supply line of mules. So far Techno coming in for that ground pound slam as it comes in. Another slam. Is he trying to? Is he going to? So far he didn't as he gets mazered.
My mules!
As now the mules are getting artillery by the rare echelon group. As now it's just an endless wave of artillery. Meanwhile the
My
GSF
mules!
stupidly
My mules!
just artillery
Where's
their
our
own mortar crew. This is the most stupidest thing I've seen. The enemy actually mortared their own mortars that actually was going to save them their game to be able to recapture, but so far now they just pull back the mules after surviving some more rounds. The last survivors will hold the objective. Meanwhile, Techno coming in, getting assassinated by Bravo. Bravo's trying his best to go for that back shot as he's too busy chasing down an engineer. He now turns that engineer into a pancake by squishing him with his bare knuckles. So far, Bravo coming in, trying his best to do a sneak attack on Tiger. But so far, it's not working because meanwhile, Techno coming in for that saviour as he comes to straight. But Bravo is now bleeding on the floor, about to die as he comes in for another ground pound. Even though he did not ground pound, he just gently flicked his nose and his nose completely broken off. Meanwhile, the GSF are now pushing everything they got. They are sending every vehicle they got. They're sending the M33s, they're sending Hellspawn, they're sending IEVs, they're sending in mortars, Marines, Elite Marines, Engineer. Everything is now on the field. It's now free game. They are now sending everything into Bravo. It is a massive gamble for them. They really are charging in everything
They're burning
they got.
my chicken wings!
So far. So far.
My chicken wings!
Yo, someone
Alright,
take a
guys.
picture. Someone take picture of all the
yeah.
mules.
Hell yeah!
Take a picture of the Mules.
Oh,
Mules.
There's now a
Mules
victory
Civil
by a
War 2.0.
brilliant commander only using mules, which is an uncommon strategy, but yet the most memeiest and hilarious strategy. He was able to defeat the GSF forces completely.